My fault. Didn't lead a party.
I'll be right back.
I didn't mean to lead a party. My fault.
There's blood constantly pumping through. Right now, there's blood pumping through my feet.
Oh, she didn't say she has blood pumping through her meat, but when I say that, everybody's like, oh, she has the women's bathroom stuff.
And there's blood constantly pumping through. Right now, there's blood pumping through my meat.
Oh, she didn't say she has blood pumping through her meat, but when I say that, everybody's like, oh, she has the women's bathroom stuff.
And there's blood constantly pumping
I
through.
lost all my
Right now,
take
there's
trying to
blood
do
pumping through my
that
feet.
dumb shit.
Oh, she didn't say she has blood pumping through her meat, but when I say that, everybody's like, oh, she has the women's bathroom stuff.
And there's blood constantly pumping through. Right now.
Excuses your girl makes me try to move. You always out with your boys. I don't know what y'all do. Excuses your girl makes me try to move. Oh, baby, you know it's that time of the month. Like, you know your cycle the whole month. Excuses your girl makes me like, would you snatch my best friend to save my life? I said, she was like, you ain't no. Is that just to save a life? Excuses your girl makes me try to text you like girlfriends. Like, so what we gonna do? Just lay here in the bed together? You need to go break up. Excuses your girl makes me not in the mood. I found the condoms in the back seat, and I know you don't use condoms, so you been. Excuses your girl makes me not in the mood. Go, baby. I had a long day. I went to work. I had to cook. I had to clean. Now you about to suck this? Oh my god!
They used to call it jawbone.
Excuses your girl makes me not in the mood. I know what you be doing in that bathroom. Why you? Excuses your girl makes me not in the mood. You always out with your boys. I don't know what y'all be.
Let's talk about the time Aunt May took down a villain all by herself. One night after Aunt May came back to the grocery store, Peter was outside waiting for her. He helped his dear old aunt get groceries inside while she was reminiscing about old times. But across town, the real Peter Parker was visiting an old friend. When they got to the room, Aunt May put up the groceries while the fake Peter Parker ripped out the phone cord from the wall. Aunt May then asked Peter if he wanted oatmeal raisin cookies, and the chameleon said sure. Meanwhile, Peter found out about this deception and was on his way back to the tower. After the chameleon ate 5 cookies, Aunt May started to laugh a little bit, telling him he only needed to eat 1 or 2. She revealed to the chameleon she knew he wasn't Peter because he hated oatmeal raisin cookies. What type of mother would she be if she couldn't tell her son from an imposter? And when he got up to attack, he couldn't move. She revealed she put arsenic poisoning in the cookies, that's what made them taste so good. And she sewed a little gotcha blanket for him. Aunt May Parker watched with joy as the chameleon fell to the floor convulsing, then passing out. Let's talk about the time Aunt May took down a villain all by herself. One night after Aunt May came back from the grocery store, Peter was outside waiting for her. He helped his dear old aunt get groceries inside while she was reminiscing about old times.
Bitch, I like the fool. If you see fucking K, she said she ain't gay, but you gonna be gay today. I like the fool. If you see fucking K, she said she ain't gay, but you gonna be gay today. I like the fool. Bitch, I like the fool.
This is definitely not your average router, as you guys can already see. First of all, it is literally touchscreen, and you can even run your own speed test directly from the router itself. It tells you the temperature, the CPU usage, and the memory, as well as how many devices are being connected. This thing is so good, I literally get Wi-Fi down the road. Not even kidding. This is definitely not your average router, as you guys can already see. First of all, it is literally touchscreen, and you can even run your own speed test directly from the router itself. Yeah.
I'm going like this. Look, it was times I had to look up in the mirror. Ask myself, is this something I consider? Applying pressure, I'ma hit another gear. Vision 2020, I'ma take up for the year. I'm hitting missions. See, I'm coming in, I need all commission. Trying to run with us. Them people that condition.
Bro, what is the takeover for if I'm not getting a blow-by?
Photo out for me so we can show them, baby.
The first floor, right?
Right beside the bedroom. The first floor. That should be in that sofa.
Oh, there you go.
trying to get it.
Whose baby is this in my room?
I'm trying to stack every piece of the making highlights on the tape to that from the real.
Hey, who's baby? Hey. Hey, whose baby is in here laying down on the
Now make sure you get that photo out for me so we can show you the pictures, baby.
Whoa, not so fast, fella. Where you off to so fast? Well, I'm fine. I can use that kind of hustle on my offensive line. What are you waiting at right now? 2:30? What year? Junior. Why aren't you on my football field? Okay, you never thought to try out? I'll tell you what. See my practice, maybe the boys will start giving you off campus lunch. Sounds sweet. All right, young man. Give yourself a deal. See you this afternoon. Whoa, not so fast, fella. Where you off to so fast? Well, I'm fine. I can use that kind of hustle on my offensive line. What are you waiting at right now? What year? Junior. Why aren't you on my football field? Okay, you never thought to try out? I'll tell you what. Soon by practice today, the boys will start giving you off campus lunch. Sounds sweet. Thank you very much, man. I'm trying to, I'm even just so you go back, I think.
That's a bit. You gotta eat pussy.
That's it.
I'm being real. It causes fuller beard. Like, I'm not playing around, but it's scientifically proven. It's like a chemical in like the vagina fluids that like the reaction with your skin, it sparks growth. Can't grow much in.
I'm trying to, I'm shaving so you go back, I think.
Hey, excuse me. 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 Hey, excuse me.
Nasty Animal Beefs, Part 3. And we're gonna need the whole video for this one. Because the closest thing to on-site in nature is the gang war between the mongoose and the snake. This beef is so right because the survival of one quite literally depends on the death of the other. Mongoose will harass, kill, and eat snakes because nature gave them venom resistance and they forgot how to act. But notice I said resistance, not immunity, because they're not completely immune. If a cobra gets too many hits on it, the mongoose will drop and sometimes the snake will eat it. Meaning this might be the only beef where both sides eat each other. But the worst version of this beef is between the black mamba and the mongoose. The black mamba can flatline a man in 40 minutes and one bite can murder 15 people. The mongoose is a vicious murder weasel that takes lives like he gets paid for it. The gray mongoose was actually introduced to Hawaii because people thought they would handle the rat population, but ironically they seem to handle almost everything but. These stab patterns nearly wiped out the entire population of the island they were on. The black mamba's lightning fast, but the mongoose is pure crackhead determination, which is why these confrontations usually only have one survivor. The mongoose bases snake into striking by dancing around it and dodging last second. Once the snake tires, it puts it out with a crushing bite to the back of the head. But if the mongoose slips up and takes too many hits, it's curtains. Nasty Animal Beefs, Part 3, and we're gonna need the whole video for this one. Because the closest thing to on-site in nature is the gang war between the mongoose and the snake. This beef is so right because the survival of one quite literally depends on the death of the other. Mongoose will harass, kill, and eat snakes because nature gave them venom resistance and they forgot how to act. But notice I said resistance, not immunity, because they're not completely immune. If a I'm not even gonna sit here and pretend I knew what the that was because I didn't, but after researching it, I have an answer. It's a deep-sea siphonophore, and it's not just one animal, it's a group of thousands of tiny animals that band together and like a freakish hive mind functions as one. And yes, that means the man of war is a man of many, because as a siphonophore is also made of tiny smaller units called zooids. The ones at the bottom of the ocean are bioluminescent, but instead of producing blue and green like everyone else, this hentai comes to life glows red, and they use this light to attract prey like krill and copepods. Hive mind, there's technically no limit to their growth. Looking at right now is a 150-foot siphonophore that was found off the coast of Australia. For reference, the biggest blue whales are just under 100, making it technically the longest animal on the planet. Honestly, this makes me more uncomfortable than a T-posing squid. It looks like a squid. Looks like I'd have to switch to the hub if my mom walked in, because honestly, that would be easier to explain. They float around waiting for a victim to accidentally brush up against their tentacles so they can shoot them with paralyzing toxins. They'll even
Running.
transform their shape to form a net around their prey. You'd be wondering if they're dangerous to us. Imagine this being longer than a blue whale and ask me again. I'm not even gonna sit here and pretend I knew what the that was, because I didn't, but after researching it, I have an answer. It's a deep-sea cephalophore, and it's not just one animal, it's a group of thousands of tiny animals that ban animal secrets zookeepers might not want to tell you. Part 2. Anteaters are way meaner than they get credit for, and sometimes they'll just snap and take a life for no reason. Like, even jaguars would hesitate to attack them because they're really only one swing away from being a memory. One anteater mauled a zookeeper so badly that she had severe liver, stomach, and lung damage. And she died. You watch your back if you're in his hunt. Tortoises are jaw-droppingly stupid. If you leave a bucket around them, they will 100% try to make babies with it, and they'll even give their treatment to an extra curvy boulder. Orangutans are evil pickpocketing geniuses that'll steal items of importance and only return them in exchange for food. Sometimes they'll even break up the object and hand it back piece by piece in order to extort more food, which is unfortunate if they steal your phone, and even worse if they steal an animal like an opossum. It's happened. This isn't a secret, but if you've ever seen a zookeeper cleaning an enclosure and you jokingly said something like, "I wonder what animal that is," I can guarantee you that day you got silently cursed out in ways you didn't even know possible. Giraffes can seriously mess you up out of nowhere. Males fight for females by necking, and it's exactly what it sounds like. Sometimes they'll take a swing and keepers not paying attention just to be a dick, and if they connect, they will send you flying. The one day they're not nice is the day someone gets put on CNN. Animal secrets zookeepers might not want to tell you, part 2. Anteaters are way meaner than they get credit for, and sometimes they'll just snap and take a life for no reason. Like, even jaguars would hesitate to attack them because they're really only one swing away from being a memory. One anteater mauled a zookeeper so badly that she had severe liver, stomach, and lung damage. And she died. You watch your back if you're in his hunt. Tortoises are jaw-droppingly stupid. It's the Animal Beefs, part 3. We're gonna need the whole video for this one, because the closest thing to on-site in nature is the gang war between the mongoose and the snake. This beef is so ripe because the survival of one quite literally depends on the death of the other. Mongoose will harass, kill, and eat snakes because nature gave them venom resistance and they forgot how to act. But notice I said resistance, not immunity, because they're not completely immune. If a cobra gets too many hits on it, the mongoose will drop, and sometimes the snake will eat it. Meaning this might be the only beef where both sides eat each other. But the worst version of this beef is between the black mamba and the mongoose. The black mamba can flatline a man in 40 minutes, and one bite can murder 15 people. The mongoose is a vicious murder weasel that takes lives like he gets paid for. The gray mongoose was actually introduced to Hawaii because people thought they would handle the rat population, but ironically they seem to handle almost everything but. These stab patterns nearly wiped out the entire population of the island they were on. Black mamba's lightning fast, but the mongoose have pure crack and determination, which is why these confrontations usually only have one survivor. The mongoose beats the snake in striking by dancing around.
I can't do anything,
Once the snake
man.
flies, it puts it out with a crushing bite to the back of the head. But if the mongoose slips up and takes so many hits, it's curtains. That's the Animal Beefs, part 3, and we're gonna need the whole video for this one, because the closest thing to on-site in nature is the gang war between the mongoose and the snake. This beef is so ripe that the survival of one quite literally depends on the death of the other. Mongoose will harass the strongest animal in the world. Might just surprise you. It might surprise you because it's none of these animals here. In a world of tigers, elephants, and monkey bison horns, the heaviest lifter of all is actually the beetle. The rhinoceros beetle can lift 800 times its own weight. That would be me bench pressing a tank. The reason this Darth Vader bug is such a powerhouse is ironically because it's so small. With less weight to carry around, it can dedicate more muscles to purely lifting. This beetle has a compact system, meaning it can fit more muscles in its body, and it has a tough exoskeleton that can handle weight better. Having an exoskeleton means its muscles are inside its skeleton, making this beetle stronger than King Kong's paw armor. But fun fact, it's not even the strongest beetle. That title belongs to the dung beetle, since they can lift 1,141 times their own weight. If a person did that, they'd be lifting 6 double-decker buses with people in it. And since we're bigger and we don't have an exoskeleton, we will never be stronger than this beetle. But with Fitness Coach, you can be stronger than you were yesterday, because it lets you choose your workout intensity, how often you want to work out, and what exactly you want to work out. If you want to get right for the summer, it's going to be the top one right there. But respectfully, neither you or Goku are touching this beetle. It may eat you, but they don't take you. The strongest animal in the world might just surprise you. It might surprise you because it's none of these animals. You would not want to be reincarnated as these animals. First is a scorpion, and if you're wondering why, it's horrible character design. Because if it loses its stinger, it also loses its anus, meaning even if it survives being crippled, it'll die a slow, painful, constipated death. Next.
Hello?
My mama said,
Huh?
my mother said, come out.
Alright.
Casino because they get violated by your kids.
Rennie. Where my other shoe at? Cameron, where's my other gym shoe? Oh, man. What? I'm about to go to the store. I'm about to go to the store. What's on I am. I'm done.
She acting different cause she heard that I'm popping now. I spent her out in Louis V, so they made me a member now. Who wanna kick it just because I'm living topping down. She acting different cause she heard that I'm popping now.
Hair company, I have to put on my shoes.
Songs with me, but don't wanna pay the fee. I just came from overseas.